Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created one of the middleware, and into this middleware we change that password and we make it as a bit-tree password from to the model, right? So this middleware actually executed when it will be get that as a save method. Like if you go to our user and into the user, before I have discussed about when that will be created and a new user, this user password field data will be has a hash password. Okay, here as I told you, that will be executed only when it will be get that our save method, right? Here I have already added that as a save. You can say there is a save. So now if you want to update it, like there is also another method. If you go in our user controller, into this user controller, there is another method as an update method. So before we update that things like that way, here first of all we simply call that our find by id and update method, and with this method we get this AI specific id data, and then from here we update it, right? And also there is another way. If you can actually update, first of all you have to fetch all that your data, that means your specific id data, and then from to this position you have to update. So I want to use it the next one, because here we'll actually save this data again in our database. So when you use that as a save method, then we are able to access our this middleware, right? I hope you get some of the idea. So now I want to change that format. Here I don't want to use that as a find by id and update, because into the find by id and update method there have no option for the save, because we need that save. Without our save method we are not able to update this data. So how can do that work? For doing this right now, I want to simply remove everything in our try. So here I simply remove it. So here what exactly we have to do? First of all, we have to get this user data. Like I have already created one of the, you can see there is a user update. So into this user update, that is a is before I have simply updated, right? So from here, if you want to update the password field, then our this password field data will be changed to E, and it will be stored in our database with the hash password, right? Here, let's do that work. For doing this, first of all, I want to get our specific ID. If you want to get this ID, that will be the constant. I name that variable as a user variable, okay? And then I want to do with this await. So that will be, because that is a asynchronous function, I use that as a await. And then our model name as a user model, and with this model I want to find by id. I want to use that our find by id method. So with this method, first of all I want to get that our requested id. So if you want to get that requested id, that will be the request, and then the params, right? I have already discussed about that things we do with these params. Then our id, I simply get this id. So this ID means in our here, that is actually our ID. You can see that is our requested ID. I simply get this ID, and now I want to first of all get all that our value. That means which value here will be updated. I want to get all that value. Okay, so that is all that our key value I want to take. Better I take another variable as a constant variable, and I just name it as a keys. Okay, and then I want to get that our all that object data. So that is our one of the object, right? Here before I have already discussed about that things with you, that is one of the JSON object data. Now I want to get all that our object, and after that object I want to pass one of the method as a keys. Okay, that is a keys one of the method. So now with this keys method area, here I want to pass all that our requested body data. So that will be the requested body, all that data. So as I told you before, that is in our body will get all that our object data. So now I have get all that our object data. That means that is all that our object data. I simply take all that object data, and I take the things with this variable as a keys. Right now we have to get all that our keys, and then we have to save this data. Simple work. Now I want to add on of the for loop, because one by one that will be check all that our fields. So that is all that our key. So I take that as a lay, I name it as a key. Key will be of our which variable. I have already get all that our body data, that is in our here as a keys. Okay, so I simply pass it in here. So I pass that keys and I take the things right now with this variable as a key. Now with this key I want to visible all the data. So that means that will be as a user. Now with this user I want to pass that our key. So that is our key, and key will be which one? Key will be our request, our requested body. Sorry, requested body. That is a requested body and requested body key. So I simply pass it. Great. And after that now I want to save it. Okay, you can see I am actually now calling that our save method. As I told you, that will be needed. So that is our await, and then the user and this user data I want to save. So that is our save method. I simply declared. Now that should be executed, right? Here I have using that save method. That means it shall be get all the data, it shall be check all the data, and then that will be save this data again in our database with the save method. Now here or this save, this middleware should be executed. But they have also one of the issue. Like if you go here, like right now there is a multiple data, that is one of the ID, right? So that is one of the ID. First of all, I want to check this ID, that is exist or not. That is our which ID? That is our E29, right? So that is a E29. So if you go, that is our, I have already deleted this data maybe. So right now that is actually our another one. Better I take this one. Okay, I copy it. I want to update this ID. So I want to simply update this ID. So that will be our ID, and age as a 60. Right now here our age as a 40, right? So that will be updated. So every time you may not need to update that password, right? And also when you update that password, you also don't notify this, because of all that is actually it should be created one of the hash password, right? You can see it should be created this type of one of the hash password. So how we can understand that our password has been changed? Okay, here you have to understand it, like how there is actually created another hash password. So how you'll be able to understand that how your password has been changed. So you can actually protect it with using another this method. Okay, with this method we can actually change it, like I show you. Then that will be very interactive. Like here we have to add that as a if condition, and into this if condition our user, and into this user that is also this one of the method as is modified. Okay, is modified. So with this method we can actually check it. We can check our password. That means if there have any modifiable password field, then I just simply put this condition, then that will be executed, right? So then that will be executed in here. That means then that will be executed. It should be change our password field to the hash password, rather than when you only updated that like as a age, then that will be the same. Here it should be not executed. So with this if condition, it should be checked. If this user password field is modified, then it should be executed. Okay, I simply added that things in here, and then that will be our next. So if you also want to check it into the console log, what exactly it should be do in our is modified. If you want to check it, then you can also check it with the console. Then that will be actually a little bit clear to you. So I make it as a console log, and into this console log I want to use that user. Better I copy it. Okay, I better copy it. That is the total things I want to do, and to take it, and now I want to do and to paste it. So into the console log now that should be also display. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Okay, that's all you have to do in your middleware and also in our user, and to the user that will be saved. So also that is one of the update method. It should be updated with a specific one of the ID. If you want to add this type of the conditions that user is exist or not, you can also add it. Better I copy the same condition. I copy it, and first time that will be checked that user is exist or not. Okay, I simply paste it in here. With this it should be checked that user is exist or not. I have already checked it. If not, then that will be displayed as user not found, because it should be updated with a specific some of the ID. For the reasons here you can actually use that condition. Okay, great. And then our key body, and it should be get or fetch all that our data, fetch all that our body data, and then that will be resave it again in our database. So friend, that's all you have to do. Now let's check this out. If everything okay, it should be updated. Click as a save all. And now if you go to our database, like that is one of the ID, right? Here I have already added one of the ID for the user as a this one. Now there is age as a 40. Now I want to change that as a age 60. Let's check this out, it's updated or not. Now click, that is one of the patch method. That means here I want to update this user. Click as a send. Now you can see it's now successfully updated. Now that is age as a 60. If you now go to our database, I want to refresh it. Yeah, you can see it's updated as a 60. That means every functionality worked perfectly. and also I have check it, like I want to change check it in here. You can see it's now display as a false, right? It's display as a false because of all here I have already added that things in our console log. That means is modifier password field. I didn't change any password field. For the reasons you can see it's now display as a false. Okay friend, I hope it's now very clear to you. Now I want to update this password. Now let's do that work. For doing this specific this ID password field I want to change it right now. Password and password. Now I want to use one of the string type password. Okay, string type password as this type of one of the password. So now this password should be changed and now it should be created one of the hash password. Now if you click as a send it again, yes, you can see it's now successfully updated. Now our password is become changed and now that is our hash password. And if you go to our data console log, yes, you can see into the console log right now is display as a true. That means right now from to this position I have updated that password field. Right now you can see it's now simply returned as a true. Okay, I hope it's very clear. And if you go to the database, before that is a plain password, now I have changed it. Yes, now you can see it's now become changed and now it's display as a hash password. I hope friend it's very much clear to you how can do this work. So that is a simple process. Just simply you have to practice. Okay friends, just simply practice it. Everything will be more clear to you. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.